Hey, welcome to the Sunday, I guess. It's Ultra David.
Yep, it's James Chen. How's everybody going?
Let's talk about Evo 2015, which is coming up next week.
Yeah, but before we do that...
That's what the show will be about.
Yeah, but before we do that, I do want to take an opportunity to give a shout-outs to Mr. Satoru Iwata, CEO of Nintendo, apparently just passed away today.
Just heard about it, on my drive over here.
Pretty much. So, he was the CEO. He's the guy that was in all the Nintendo Directs.
Right.
Came from HAL, did a lot, I'm sure, for Nintendo, and I'm sure he would have been super happy to watch Smash Brothers at Evo and such, and just had a successful E3 and everything like that. So, really terrible, tragic news, and hopefully, shout-outs to everybody at the Nintendo family and such. So, Not a fun way to start it, but it happened. So
definitely have to acknowledge and give all the props and all the condolences to everybody.
Look, I love what they were doing at Nintendo, how they turned all their executives into characters and personalities. It really put a human spin on the Nintendo staff and kind of emphasized that their games were about being fun.
Right.
It wasn't just like some marketing machine. They were still making video games.
Right.
And they were supposed to be fun. And, even the last E3, a lot of people complained about the puppets or whatever like that. I thought it was cool.
I loved it, honestly. I thought it was great.
I thought it was fantastic, So, shout outs to Mr. Iwata-san. And, and like I said, shout outs to everyone in the Nintendo family. So, and, but... stuff moves on. And,
I guess,
Yeah, and like we said, Evo's coming up in just a week.
Yeah, it'll start on Friday, very soon now. We're here on Sunday, Pacific time zone. But it'll start on Friday. And so what we want to do is a few things today. We want to go over sort of the general event, talk about the event, history of it just a little bit. We'll talk about what you can do there, what you can see there. And then we will start talking about the games. There are a lot of games, and we will have people on to help us for almost all of them. We'll have guests joining us via Skype to talk about storylines to watch and players to watch, and if they have anything else that they'd like to talk about. We just want to get a little bit of a perspective on each of the games so that if you're watching a game that you might not have much familiarity with, which I fall into that group. It's nice to know a little bit about what to look for and what to expect.
What the storylines going in are. Yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So that's what the point of the show is going to be today. We're going to try to make it about 20 minutes or so per game, but we'll see how well that works.
Yeah. But can you imagine right now that exactly 1 week from now, we'll pretty much be done with every game but Street Fighter 4?
Dang.
We'll know who's won Evo 2015 in every game except for Marvel and Street Fighter 4 probably at this point in time.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. We say it every year, but it really feels like it just crept up. Like Dude. It feels like Evo was so little of a time ago. And I feel like even though we've already been through this quite extended tournament season, I feel like even that just started.
Yeah,
Even though it's been going on since February, March, something like that.
Yeah, I know,
but
right? Yeah, it's Evo comes around
one.
so fast every year.
Yeah.
Some people have asked, why doesn't Evo do more than one tournament, dude? Like, we would be dead.
No,
there's just no way. So
yeah.
And also, Evo is just it's so much work to put on.
Right.
So, but I mean, we'll get into some of the reasons why.
Well, I mean, we want to talk a little bit about the history of Evo?
Yeah. So, I mean, since I was there.
Exactly right, yeah.
So, in case people don't know, a lot of people probably are aware of the history, but in case you're new to Evo and you're trying to learn a lot about evolution, Evo basically started out, wasn't even Evo. So what originally started the whole entire thing was the news group. I don't even know if people know what news groups are anymore, right? Yeah. It's just basically giant forums. It was like the original forum, which were news
Internet
groups.
web forums.
You subscribed to those, and it was Alt Games SF2, AG SF2.
Yeah.
And people just started gathering there, and this was the first time people from around the country started talking to each other. And you know how that always goes, right? Our area is better than yours. Our area is better than yours. So finally, AGSF2 arranged a national gathering called Battle by the Bay, because it was going to take place in San Francisco. And it was nicknamed B3 for Battle by the Bay. Right. And a whole bunch of people showed up from Canada. Even some of the guys from Kuwait flew out. And this was all for Alpha 2, basically, and a little bit of ST, but Alpha 2 was the main game at the time. And a whole whopping, like, 60-some people showed up to this thing.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous, dude. 60-some people showed up to this thing and packed in this arcade in Southern Hills Golfland.
Yeah.
Not Southern Hills, Sunnyvale Golfland. Yeah, and we all played, and eventually the top 2 people who everyone thought would make it to Grand Finals, John Choi, Alex Vai, certainly made it there, with Alex Vai winning at the end with a surprise Alpha 2 Sagat pick, which everyone thought he was a garbage character, but he surprised everybody with that. And, so that was B3, and then years later, 2 fellows by the name of Tom Cannon and Tony Cannon, twins from the San Francisco area, decided to put on another tournament, and they called it B4 as a joke. It really didn't stand for anything. It just they went from B3 to B4, and this took place in Folsom, California.
Okay.
Up where which is the most known for the prisons.
Did you go?
I did go.
Okay.
I did go up to Folsom, California. So Folsom, and that took place again in an arcade, tiny little arcade. And we had a big tournament there. This time we had a lot of people from the East Coast. I think this is the one that was the basis for the the Bang the Machine documentary. And, after this one went, it was super successful. Lots of cool stuff happened. They continued the next year with B5. And then eventually Tom and Tony were like, you know what, this is let's do something different. Let's get rid of this stupid inside joke nickname and let's do something else. And so in 2002, they changed it to Evolution.
Right.
I helped them find the UCLA venue, which actually turned out to be a bad thing in the end. But that's a whole long story that I don't need to get into. Yeah. But it was awesome. It was a cool event. It was arcade. Moved on to Cal Poly Pomona in 2003, and that's when he started. Tom was like, we have to move to consoles. Because this was all arcade machines before. So we started moving to consoles, and everyone was like, you're killing the fighting game community. Right. Death to Evo, whatever. So this was happening for years, right? So like everyone was so mad, and Tom literally said, he was like, if we do not move to consoles, our scene is doomed. He's like, we have to make this move to consoles. And everyone's like, you're crazy. And of course, all these years later, it's like, how could that even have been a concern, right?
No, I remember, that was my first or second year in the FGC, and I didn't go to Evo until 04, but I do remember that year of all the debates on Shoryuken and everybody was mad at everybody else. So
and then of course then in 2004 they did it again at Cal Poly Pomona, and then 2005 is when everything kind of changed. We went to Vegas instead, and because it was just a better place to host, because when you went to Cal Poly Pomona, there is literally nothing there. So, like, outside the tournament, you had nothing to do except check out the building that's in Gattaca.
That's true.
But outside of that, there was nothing to do. So they figured Vegas is better. Flights are cheaper to Vegas, and 24 hours in Vegas. People have stuff to do. And even at this time, we were like, all the players are getting old, and they have families. Mm-hmm. So now at least you can bring your family to Vegas. It can be a good vacation spot and everything. So we moved to Vegas. It was at the Green Valley Ranch. Next year, went to Red Rock, back to the Green Valley Ranch. Then we finally made it onto the Strip at the Tropicana, which was a mistake. Because the Tropicana was terrible. Yeah. But then from there, it started getting a lot stronger, and that's when we started ending up on the Strip. And then 2009 rolled around, and we had the Justin Daigo Grand Finals of Street Fighter 4, which exploded everything. Well, so Street Fighter 4 came out, obviously, and got everything big in 2009.
Much bigger.
And then, because the grand finals were so epic, with Justin resetting the bracket, going to Balrog randomly, and all the stuff like that, that just caused the biggest explosion, like, of the fighting game community to date.
I mean, in general, SF4 blew it up. Mm-hmm. Blew it up. Mm-hmm. That's a gigantic factor in this whole, and all the growth that's happened in the last 5-6 years.
I still remember after Evo was done, that was the year that the grand finals was so epic. I was sitting on a chair on the stage after the whole thing. Everyone was out of the room. I think it was AJ and also Kelly Klein, our photographer we used to have. They walked up to me and they were like, "Do you think it could ever be like this?" And I was like, "Never in a million years, dude." It was like, if you told me this is what it was going to be like last year, I would have laughed at your face, you know. Yeah. Because it was so epic. And then since then, so 2009 till now, it's just been growing and growing and growing, and just keeps getting bigger. And, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, one thing I would like to address before we even get on there, a lot of people talk about how Evo is like corporate, or, you know, it's kind of expensive or whatever, these kind of things like that. And, you know, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I don't want to say it has to be that way, but you have to realize how important Evo is to the fighting game community, because without having the history, without having all those proven years of running a successful event, Seth Killian once said, the legacy of Evo is not going to be the matches or whatever, it's just that we somehow pulled it off year after year, right? And without Evo, we wouldn't be getting these pop bonuses, all these pop bonuses for
I agree with that. Yeah.
Without all these pop bonuses, we're not going to get mainstream coverage, we're not going to get all this, you know, attention and everything like that. It's very important in the ecosphere that we have this event here to be our Wimbledon, to be our Super Bowl, to be our Grand Championships. And so, I mean, it's going to keep growing, and eventually, I mean, I was even talking to Wizard like yesterday, and he was like, they had no clue that they would ever get to a point where they would run out of space on Sunday.
Right, yeah. Which has happened. It's sold out.
You can't buy a pass on Sunday. And he's like, there was never a point that we thought that this would ever happen. Like, they just didn't think it was going to happen. And yeah, they're going to have to try to do different things, but who knows what they're going to do. So yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm not jealous of them.
No, they have a lot of work.
Yeah.
They have a lot of work. Exactly. It is not easy to do that stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, so again, Evo, super hyped though. That's just the thing too. It's like, even though some people say it may have lost some of the grassroots stuff, that's complete bunk. It's still grassroots. It's still the people there. It's still the audience that makes it exciting, for me at least. So.
The audience is the biggest part. Yeah. I feel like Evo does a good job at putting together a situation where hype things can happen, and then it's on the players, and the players, at least one of the games delivers every single year. There's never been a boring Evo in general. It's almost can't happen. And I don't expect that this year will be any different.
Yeah, exactly.
It definitely is bigger. I mean, it's not just the tournament itself. There's the Indie Games Showcase, which I would love to have information about, but shoryuken.com is down today.
That's right.
So I can't. That would be great. But hey, when this is on YouTube and you hear me talking about it, just go to shoryuken.com and you'll find all about the Indie Games Showcase.
Dude, I wonder if I have it still.
Oh, you got a cache or something?
Because really, it's all about the YouTube links, right? That's the important part.
Right. Bunch of different games that are being shown there, indie developers who are putting out competitive games or games that have some competitive aspect or some sort of fighting gamey aspect, something like that. Definitely worth checking out if you're going or looking into if you're not looking into those games.
Yeah.
And on top of that, there are going to be vendors there, and there will be all sorts of stuff going on. So.
No,
you don't have it. Yeah, that's fine.
That's
fine.
Because I wanted to show all the videos.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to do that. So.
Yeah.
The games. You want to talk about the games and the schedule?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I mean, just so you know, usually what they're going to do for Friday and Saturday, all the games are going to be played in one of the halls. So there's 2 halls again, like there was last year. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. Actually, even last year there was the small hall.
True.
Yeah, so they're going to do similar thing. That one of the halls is going to be the vendor hall. The other hall is going to be where the main games are going to be played. So in the vendor hall, you're going to be able to check out all the cool things like the indie showcase. They had an art show last year. I haven't heard anything announced about an art show this year, so I don't know if they're doing that. Hopefully they do, because you could actually buy a lot of the pictures there and stuff like that. And then that's also where like Arxis last year had Guilty Gear Xrd playable and such like that. I know that another booth had Rise of the Incarnates there that you could play and all this other stuff like that. So,
and this year, Street Fighter V.
Yeah. Street Fighter V is gonna be.
That's gonna be there. So.
I hope it's the Ken build.
I hope it's got to be the Ken
build.
Well,
here's the interesting thing too, though. I mean, Comic-Con they announced Ken, and Ken was there.
Right.
Like, they've got to announce a character.
You think they? Oh, really?
Like, you've got to announce a character. And if they do, I hope that character's playable. That'd be sick. Unless maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
I don't know. But
if I was Capcom, I'd be announcing characters at Evo. You know what I mean?
That's how I
feel. That's how I feel. So hopefully they'll announce a character, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll definitely see.
So there's going to be the vendor hall and then the main hall, and then on Sunday the vendor hall gets converted into the secondary hall, where everyone's going to be able to watch the stream in real time. and you'll be able to hear the commentators, and then the other room is going to be the main room with watching it live. But you won't hear the commentators.
Right. So it's kind of it's sort of, which one do you prefer? Would you rather be in the room where the players are? Or would you rather be in the room where the commentators are piped in?
Right.
I feel like that's the...
So last year, the biggest problem was that the one where the commentators were piped in was also delayed because it was literally just broadcasting the stream. So you'd hear the other room explode, and then you'd be like, what's going to happen? You know? But now that it's all happening at the same time, even last year where the room, even though they were delayed, there was enough room in the first room. I'm sorry, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wizard basically walked into the secondary room, was like, hey, look, we have enough room in the other ballroom now. This was after like a lot of the Smash people left, like after Melee ended, so Street Fighter was open.
Okay.
And he was like, you can walk into the other room now, you can just go watch the main room. And a lot of people in the secondary room were like, nope, we're good. We want to stay here. So they wanted to stay there just so they could listen to the commentary. So.
That's whichever one you prefer. Yeah, I think that's great that you can do both.
Yeah.
So schedule.
Yes, let's do the schedule.
So starting on Friday, that's when Ultra Street Fighter 4 pools are going to be played all the way to top 8, which will be on Sunday. Same thing with Persona 4. That's going to be entirely on Friday. It'll start at 8 a.m. and it'll go until the tournament ends that night. Super Smash Bros. WiiU, that's Friday, will be pools and quarterfinals. Super Smash Bros. Melee, pools and quarterfinals, also on Friday. And then Tekken 7 and Guilty Gear Xrd pools will also be on Friday. Saturday is going to have Ultimate Marvel 3 pools, also quarterfinals and semifinals. Mortal Kombat X will be pools, quarterfinals, semifinals, also Saturday. Then Smash WiiU starts Saturday morning, and it will be done. Its finals will be at noon on Saturday.
Right.
Killer Instinct pools start on Saturday, and the tournament ends that night. Then Saturday also finishes Tekken 7 pools, and Tekken 7 finals are later that night. And Guilty Gear Xrd pools continue on Saturday, and then also semifinals on Saturday. So Sunday, in order, Guilty Gear Xrd is going to start off at 9 a.m. Then Mortal Kombat X will be at 11 a.m. Then Super Smash Bros. Melee will be at 1 p.m. Then at 4 will be Ultimate Marvel 3, and then closing it all out will be at 6:30 p.m. Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Right. You know what's really interesting too is that a lot of the times on Sunday they've always had like little spaces reserved for like announcements and stuff like that.
I know what you mean.
But this year there's nothing.
Yeah, sort of. There are 2-hour blocks for Guilty Gear for Mortal, and then there's a 3-hour block for Melee.
Yeah, but Melee took 3 hours last year.
I'm just saying there's a possibility. And then also Ultimate Marvel 3 has a 2.5-hour block before Street Fighter 4.
Interesting.
So
okay.
I noticed that, and
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Marvel is not the longest of games. It goes kind of fast. So
we'll see.
There you go.
Okay.
Well, now I'm a little excited here. So.
Yeah. I just noticed that earlier. Now, if you want to check out what the schedule for everything is, there's also a whole stream schedule up online. Again, this is at evo.shoryuken.com, and you can see everything that's up there. I don't know if that is also down, but no, it is not. I'm looking at it right now. evo.shoryuken.com/schedule has the game schedule and the stream schedule in case you want to check it out.
Okay. Also, I just do want to give a quick shout out. If you go to Twitter and you look up the user Ace King Offsuit.
Okay.
So all one word, all lowercase, Ace King Offsuit. He put together these little Evo brackets, these little graphics of like the actual game schedule. So like if you go to one of the graphics, you'll see Ultimate Marvel Capcom 3, and he shows exactly which stream it's on and stuff like that, because there's 8 streams for Evo this year. There's 8 streams for Evo this year.
Yeah,
7 Evo streams, and then Capcom Fighters.
Yeah, so it's SRK Evo 01, SRK Evo 02, etc. Up until SRK Evo 07. And then also Capcom Fighters. That's where all the action will be. But yeah, Ace King Offsuit, you said?
Yeah, Ace King Offsuit created these graphics here.
I saw those graphics before. I didn't know what their origin was. So that's really nice.
So that's really cool. And he also has one by the channel itself too. So he has 2 graphics. So one, if you'll look at it, it'll be SRK 07, SRK Evo 07. Here's everything that it's showing in a row.
You want to put that on the chat?
Oh yeah, sure.
Get a little linky.
Good call. Now there's the English ones. Because I was like, why are these all in Japanese? Yeah, so there you go.
I don't think that they've announced the commentator schedules yet. Presumably that'll be coming out in the next week.
Yeah.
All the commentators, we know what we're doing, but we're not supposed to say yet.
Yeah. It's hidden info.
I mean, the commentators, not necessarily we.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Leaked,
you leaked everything.
Leaked.
You leaked everything.
I'm commentating leaked.
How dare you? No, we were allowed to announce that we are commentating. So
yeah, just not exactly when and for what.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but that'll all be out before Evo.
So yeah, super excited. But I don't know. Do you want to just like start getting into the game storylines?
I do. So this is the schedule that we have planned on in terms of order of games. This schedule is mostly about which guests could make it at which times, and not about like order of games or anything like that.
And honestly, like. Seriously, shout outs to every one of these guys who agreed to help us, because look, I know they probably think differently, other people think. I don't think we're important enough to have to interrupt their daily schedules and stuff like that. So
it's very nice of them.
It's very appreciative that they're willing to do a lot of this stuff for us.
And I mean, I looked into MKX and USF4 info for tonight, and I started that at noon, and I was hoping to get some actual work done before the show. No, it took that whole 6 hours.
Yeah, and I know like even D1 is like driving out to Vegas tonight, right? So
we're going to be starting with Smash.
Yes.
Because D1 is going to be our guest. D1 and Tafokints are going to be our guests, and they have to get going. So we want to get them finished with this thing so that they can get on the road as soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, hang on, let me talk to Duran here. Oh, D1, sorry, I always want to call him that, but he told me that it's literally pronounced D1, but I want to. Tafo is listed as away right now. So
okay, well we'll just bug him. Yeah. Let me mention what the game schedule that we have planned is.
Sure.
We're going to be starting off with the Smash Brothers games, Smash 4, Wii U, and Melee. Depends on the order that they want to do it in. Then we'll be talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with guest Honzogonzo. Then we'll be talking about Persona and some of the anime side tournaments with Brkrdave. Then we'll talk about Killer Instinct with Steve, a.k.a. Sajam. We'll talk about Ultra Street Fighter 4 with you and me.
Oh, there he is.
We'll talk about Mortal Kombat X with me. Oh, also, but DevilMaySpy, who I invited late, and he was kind enough to do it pretty late tonight. Then we'll go with Guilty Gear with Super FX, and we'll round it out with Tekken 7 with Rip, who is not going to get home until later, so we're going to have to save that one.
I think he's at Comic-Con right now.
And same thing with Paul.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah,
Super
that makes
FX
sense. That
also
makes
needs
sense.
to be late.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So that's the schedule that we're going to be going with. Hopefully everything works out. We're going to try to keep it, like we said, to about 20 minutes per game.
Yeah, but Tafo and Duran are D1. God, I'm going to do this forever. That's okay. He keeps calling me David. So I think I should just keep calling him Duran, whatever.
He always calls you David.
Yeah,
he calls me James.
Yeah. Does he call you James?
He's called me James.
Oh, he has?
Times,
Okay. So we're going to have them both on at the same time, basically, to talk about both smashes, or we do it? Yeah, okay. So that'll probably be like half an hour to 40-minute segment, potentially.
In total.
Yeah. So, okay. So do you want to take a break real quick, and then I can get them online, and then we can take care of everything? Okay. We'll be right back, and we'll start with some Smash stuff. So be right back.